Thanks so much for having me, and it's so great to be here. I also feel like we are super blessed that we are in a really progressive and proactive, social and environmentally conscious part of the state. And I see a lot of really familiar faces in the audience, so if I could just see a quick show of hands, have you heard of the program ReThink Disposable? Oh, fantastic. And out of that, I'm curious the audience of folks that have either directly partnered or have worked with us on the ground in your jurisdictions at some point in the past, or funders too. You guys are partners and funders. Great, so I don't want to talk too much about what we do. I just want to really get to the nitty-gritty, which is the solutions. ReThink Disposable, I like to believe, I have one problem slide. Can you see it okay, or should we turn the lights down a bit? You can kind of see it. I didn't hear anything, what? Oh, great, okay. So let me introduce myself really quick. So I've been managing the ReThink Disposable campaign. This was a program that was formed by Miriam Gordon before I joined the Clean Water Action Organization. I've been there now for over 4 years, seems a little crazy. And I'm accompanied today by a really awesome team of ReThink Disposable specialists. We have Chris and Jamie and Grace was womaning the registration table outside. You probably saw her. Anyways, just a quick background. Clean Water Action is a national environmental NGO, and we've been around since 1972 working to protect our nation's waterways. As you know, disposable foodware packaging and litter are a major source of pollutants in our waterways, on our shorelines, and in the ocean. So back in about 2011, 2012, thanks Jack for the shout out. Don't need to tell you about our research study that we conducted, but we weren't interested in what was on the beach, we were interested in what's on the streets, because that's what's contributing and eventually moving its way downstream. And we found that food packaging is a really bad culprit. And so what do? We're not interested really in educating person by person. We're interested in going into businesses, going into institutions with food services and showing them that by making changes in their packaging from disposable to reusable, they can overcome the challenges. We provide unique support and technical assistance to do that, and most importantly, metrics to track and report out the impact of our change and our recommendations working with the food businesses. So we can actually tell them, by implementing these 4 source reduction practices, you're eliminating this many pieces of packaging from your operation, you're reducing this many pounds or tons of waste from ever needing sorting, processing, and hauling, because the true zero waste vision that I have for the future is not just reducing or replacing the landfill bins, but it was reducing and eliminating all 3 bins. And I'm just going to talk about the problem for a second now. So basically, these are real businesses that we've worked with. So I can't tell you how many businesses we have recruited or tried to engage in this program throughout the Bay Area, and more so in Southern California, and also in our sister offices in Rhode Island, New Jersey, and Minnesota. But time and time again, we walk into a food business, we walk into an institution, and everyone is sitting there dining on site in a pile of trash. And we don't really care if it has a BPI labeled compost on it. We don't care if it has the chasing arrows on it. We just care if it's designed for one-time use. Does it have to go into a colored labeled bin? And have we ever seen those bins be in clean streams? No, never. So time and time again, these are real businesses that we are working with now or before, where, and as Grace so pleasantly says, that is profit that you are throwing in the trash. So our program, we try to show businesses that they're spending significant amount of time and money to continually procure and provide these types of disposables. Some businesses have anywhere between 10 and 50 different single-use disposable items that they're purchasing all the time. And then they're spending a ton of money to also, a lot of money to also haul it away. And these materials are designed for a few minutes or less, which is complete insanity when we're thinking about consumption and the life cycle impacts of those products. So I think I don't need to preach to this group because I really want to get to our case studies and our results. And actually the biggest slide that I have is about the problems and the challenges that we're facing, because I feel like I just want to be real with everyone here. I know that ReThink Disposable is out there working with hundreds of businesses around California, that we're certifying them, and our results show time and time and time again that this is successful, the model works, and there's various support tactics that these businesses need to become those zero package businesses that we're envisioning. Not zero waste, zero packaged. But basically, if we can disrupt this single-use process, and this is also another business that we're currently working with right now in the city of Alameda, it prevents litter, it prevents waste, the businesses are saving money, the cities potentially could be saving money from reduced management of the litter materials once they make their way out into the environment. It improves customer satisfaction, it actually increases or improves operational efficiency for our businesses. And what we have found is time and time again, so many of the challenges that our businesses cite or are concerned with when we first try to engage them and recruit them into the program at the door are completely perceived. So we work through that with the businesses to try to help them understand that there are many suggestions to overcome some of those obstacles. So ReThink Disposable is a voluntary engagement program where we provide technical assistance and certification for the food businesses and institutions. I'm very proud of the fact that this is an award-winning program. I'm very proud of the fact that we are the only program that I know of that actually produces results that measure and quantify the impact of the changes. And that, I think, since we are voluntary and it's not mandatory, that's our home, which is proving to businesses through the cost-benefit analysis that this program is in their best interest to sustain their businesses over time. If you've ever worked in food business or food industry, you know that this is they're some of the hardest working people, and they have absolutely no time to dedicate to thinking through becoming compliant with local laws. 3 minutes left. Okay, so what do we offer food service businesses? Most important, face-to-face outreach, multiple points of communication. To get a business to sign up and participate in the program can take up to 3 visits sometimes. So persistence. Our team is out there pounding the pavement, going door to door, and trying to pitch this program to food businesses who don't want to hear from us, who don't have any time to talk to us, and certainly don't want to change any of their operations. So we work to find the right set of unique and individualized solutions that work for those businesses, because not every business is the same. Then we work to sign them up for the program. We make our recommendations. The business selects which recommendations they're going to choose to implement, and we help them implement those operational changes with technical assistance. That also takes significant time. It's not overnight. Some businesses are overnight, though. It's like really easy and they get it and they're experts at what they do. Some businesses require a lot of hand-holding and up to 3 months of assistance because the level of the changes that they're making are much more significant. We do not charge businesses to participate in the program. It's free. It's subsidized by grants and contracts. We also provide up to $500 of financial assistance to businesses to purchase some of those reusables to help offset that initial setup cost. We measure, calculate, and report the results and impacts of our recommendations through an audit process. We never call it an audit. Then once a business has wrapped, we try to do the best we can internally and externally, working with our local program partners and funders to robustly communicate the results of these businesses, their accomplishments, but most importantly, uplift positive, solution-based stories that reuse can work, and it is working, because there's so much doom and gloom out there as it is. I wanted to show these pictures. Above we have Hang 10 Boiler, one of Jamie's businesses in Alameda. Here's an example of a business where Jamie went by the first time, she went by the second time, another time. The business owner said, you know what, okay, this time I'm gonna try reusable cups for the water station. Was it water only? for the water station. And that's the only thing the owner signed up for. There were many other disposables, you can see on the top left, that were identified as potential opportunities for changing for on-site dining, but the cups was the one thing that the owner agreed to do. After another visit, the owner decided, well, the cups was going so well, they decided to do the full transition over to all of that reusable packaging. And I want to share that based on their baseline data, that small business owner was spending almost $23,000 a year to purchase disposables packaging. That amounted to over 5 tons of waste that required sorting, hauling, and processing, and it was almost 400,000 pieces. So in our world too, I want to mention that weight and volume is kind of a critical component, because to think that you can reduce 3 tons of waste when it's nothing, practically weighs nothing, and it's plastic lids, that's significant. That's a lot of quantity. I'm gonna pass over this. I just wanted to share really quickly that we understand that reuse is hard for myriad reasons, but what we have shown after working with hundreds of businesses, they're extremely happy with their changes. They do have a high retention rate of the changes, and their customers provide positive feedback. We've started to see reviews coming out on Yelp and things or Facebook community groups where a resident in the community sees something awesome happening and now is sharing that positive messaging out to their networks. But right now I would say, really, if you visit our website, shameless plug, rethinkdisposable.org, we've got 17 business case studies up there right now. I think 7 different business video testimonials, lots of research and other resources. But right now we have 126 businesses in process of certification throughout California. And I'm just gonna go right to the challenges, and I'm gonna end, I promise, here. Because I really wanted to hear from all of you and make sure that I'm being as honest and open as possible, that this is really, we're like fish swimming up a waterfall. And so with the support and the backing and potentially mandatory approaches that y'all are considering, we are the peanut butter to the jelly. So it sounds really cheesy, but it's true. So if you are working on ordinances, not only do we provide on the front end research and surveying of businesses and residents to understand perceptions, barriers, opportunities. Chris is going to talk about that this afternoon. But we also, once an ordinance is in place, we are out there conducting the outreach, the education, and most importantly, providing the technical assistance that's lacking from the businesses, and capacity is really challenging for cities to provide that. So I'm just going to say culture change is hard. We've been hearing that a lot. We really need some more mandatory approaches to support our voluntary approach work. It will be the peanut butter to the jelly. Business outreach and technical assistance is really lacking. The time investment on behalf of the food operator, they have no time. So when we come in and we take all the work and say, we're gonna do this for you, we're gonna give you that time, that's really supportive and helpful. Cost of transitioning to and maintaining a reusable operation. Of course, dishwashing capacity, the convenience of throwaway, retention of changes over time, confusion over what is allowable in the Health and Food Safety Code. All businesses and all inspectors seem to have a different thought about that. Greenwashing about which materials are the most sustainable. So we go into businesses after business and they say, oh, I'm not a good candidate for your program. I bought all this stuff, and it's literally all single-use disposable fiber or PLA plastics, and they don't seem to make the connection that that actually is also a designed, one-time use disposable material. High volume businesses, huge challenge. Chains are a huge challenge because we need to talk directly to decision makers that can say yes or no. And then of course, government leading by example. Your purchasing power is huge. If you can work on your updated EP3 policy with training for departmental purchasers and update food vendor contract language, that would mean that we're not just putting it on the businesses, but we're actually having our governments lead by example too. And I will end there. And my contact information, if you want to reach out or have an interest in pursuing ReThink Disposable in your jurisdiction, we'd be more than happy to talk. Thanks.